I was allowed to go over there. There was just a problem. There was an actual real-life demon in his house. Lo and behold, he had Fireflower, an actual chair, and not just some flump fly off the walls, like books being sold at an alarming speed. Spun around, and I started confronting the corner of the room. He took a whole box of cereal down to his room that I had to just mention. That was some dope fucking music. When I left, there wasn't any more activity. I did my job. Welcome back to another episode of Porch Stooges. It's actually getting warmer, which is a good thing for me. You know the drill, don't be a dyke, leave a comment, leave a like, and subscribe if you also want to be counted amongst the Porch Stooges. Now, to give you a little bit of a catch you up on how far we are. Jeez, I'm stumbling over my words like a motherfucker. I was doing really well just a minute ago. What happened last time was, I got infuriated because someone else got infuriated at me, and I wanted to see how long it would take for someone to actually notice how long I was gone. That was one of the reasons I left. I originally was wanting to leave for 7 whole fucking days. 7 of them. But it wound up just being 3, which is why it's called 3 Days Chase. I needed a place to sleep that wasn't outside, that wasn't actually in the house. So that way I can get this envisionment done. One of my friends that I've reconnected with a little while prior to the story had reached out to me, and he said I was allowed to go over there. There was just a problem. There was an actual real life demon in his house. We'd wake up with scratches on his back, pictures of him. If there was him in any pictures, whether it would just be him alone or him with someone, would fly off the walls, just willy-nilly, like books being sold at a high, alarming speed. So I got my equipment, my phone included. I got my crystals, especially the little bracelet that I had at the time, and I had boarded down to his house. Lo and behold, he had Fireflower. During the day, I was getting everything set up, and right afterwards, I was having a casual conversation with him, Skates for Life, and his girlfriend. And we were trying to figure out where I was going to sleep. There wasn't a spare bed for me to take, but that was fine. I was in this beanie bag looking chair, but that had that pole around it, plus there was that back piece, so it looked like an orange bowl. It was orange, and it looked like a bowl, and it had a little back piece. But that back piece also had a pole around it to keep the actual chair and not just some flump. So I wound up crashing in that, and let me tell you, crashing in one of those hurts. Hurts your neck. It just does. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Now let's get to the actual story, now that we're all caught up and I said hello. Casual conversation talking about what kind of, like, things that I usually do to banish or just deal with demons. And I suppose, speaking of the fucking devil, because I felt pinching and poking on my back. Just like I was being, almost like they were trying to see what they could accumulate. That isn't 3 scratches exactly. So I stood up mid-conversation, spun around, and I had spoken to the corner where this demon was hiding. I knew exactly where it was because I've had experiences with demons. I know a little bit about them. I actually figured it would be somewhere on the middle level of the house, but it does make sense because they usually like basements, somewhere where that's mostly dark. Yes, they have lights, but, you know, during the night, it's darker. The reason I thought it would be in the middle level instead was because it also fed off of the rage, which nobody had told me in the moment, but I had also figured it out along with someone else who was like, you know, this is also what I've been seeing as well, when I went around and got into talking about it. The person that the rage that the demon had fed off of was nobody downstairs. Nobody who slept in the basement. And it was only that one person. I think it might have been some other visitor, but we're gonna get into that later. But if not, then that other person was just rageful himself. So I'd spun around and I'd started confronting the corner of the room. I told it had no permission to touch me or to mess with me, and it won't mess with me. And it'll learn real quick that it's not allowed or welcome in this house, and it's going to leave. And I said, doubt me, I dare you. Spun back around and then carried a casual conversation just like that never even happened. Everything was fine as wine, sugar, fine as wine. Skates for Life has a couple of tweaker friends who would go up into the laundry room and just, you know, tell stories a little bit here and there, but mostly smoke. As of, that's exactly what tweaker friends would do, is just smoke whatever kind of tree you got. Now, I call them tweaker friends ironically because I had maybe had come up with a little bit of a tolerance for it, but they just sit and smoke some more and sit and smoke and tell maybe a little stories, but mostly smoke. And they would be actively visiting. That's like the only place they would hang out, chill, smoke, and then tell a story, and then smoke some more, and then maybe possibly smoke. It's very tweakerish for them, same age group as me though. But we had gotten into the point of, let's go ahead and dabble into a little bit of the Jolly Green Giant Girl, if you know what I'm saying. I'm back downstairs, and it's kinda evening-ish now. I haven't heard from my mom yet. I'm not surprised, but still, it's worth mentioning I haven't heard from her. And I was a little hungry. But Skates for Life was even hungrier, because he took a whole box of cereal down to his room. And he ate in the bed. This was back when I was high, I didn't know if I was going to remember at least most of it, the like next day or whenever I got sober or whatever. So I would record it. I have a 15 fucking minute video somewhere. Share and spoil a little bit of what's going on. Actually, I might not be able to because I don't talk to the guy anymore, and I need his permission to be able to like send out personal information such as somebody's face. I was chatty as a motherfucker, and he was zoned. He was zoned on the zone. I remember I wanted to trick him, so I said that his jacket was a tent, and I pulled his jacket zipper down, and he went, oh, there's a tent inside me. He even was playing with the zipper himself, and he was skateboarding with his fingers like this. Going down a hill. All in the meantime, we were watching Pirates of the Caribbean on their TV over there. And I remember in one of the scenes, it was right after one of those big ship battles that he had with the rival captain, Mr. Squidbeard, right? That guy. All right, now look, I know you're gonna give me some shit in the comments about not knowing everybody's names. Shut up, okay? It's been a minute since I've watched Pirates of the Caribbean. That's number one. Number two, I don't really pay attention to names when it comes to movies like that. So shut up. I don't want to hear it. Just quit. Stop bickering at me. Fuck. Anyways, it was right after one of those battles, and the music was going down, and there was some kind of conversation that I wasn't paying attention to because I was in my own conversation, but I heard the music in the background of the movie that we were watching, and I had to just compliment this music. Was so relaxing. It was like someone put on some ambient, room temperature music that just kind of stayed there. You'd be able to hear it and notice it, but, you know, talk over it, do whatever, meditate, I don't give a fuck. You'd notice it either way. It'd play in your subconscious, and it was playing in my subconscious so well and so thoroughly and so relaxingly that I had to just mention that was some dope fucking music. Might sound a little weird. Oh, what are you talking about? Meditation music? Just meditate while you're high one time. Your experience about life will change entirely dramatically. I think that's the word. And it's also movie music. I love movie music. I love ambient music, and I like songs, don't get me wrong, but there's something about ambient music. Gives you a little wah! At the time of the day was where the demon was notoriously active, known to be active the most. I decided right now would be the best time to start actually working, instead of just saying a couple of witty banters and a little bit of mockery, including doubt me I dare you. Maybe it didn't even be active yet because it was scared of me, because of the light that I hold, but mostly because it knows that I have zero fear for it. So I started working while everyone was just about going to sleep. They started passing out, and I turned the movie off. They usually sleep with the TV on, but I told them I couldn't actually go to sleep with the TV on, so they did that for me. And I put on some ambient music myself. It was Enochian healing music. The title of the YouTube video was called Learn Enochian within however long, like an hour or whatever. However long it was, and I think it was an hour long. And I started meditating, I started opening up my chakras, and I would announce each chakra that it opened from root to crown. And I had a little bit of brain fog towards the end of it, not the crown itself. It could have been the throat or the third eye, but it was one of the two, I think. In the moment, I didn't know why, I just couldn't remember it, but now I think I understand. It didn't like me announcing the chakras. It wasn't about that light magic. It wasn't about that fucking healing. But it knew I was ultimately more powerful than this fucking demon could ever even dream to be. So I remembered it. I announced all my chakras, and then I pretty much went to bed. That was the cherry on top, was the chakra saying. As well as that, the entire time that all the lights were off were supposed to be active, and I ruined its fun. I had fun, and I was entertained, because I could feel the rage coming, and it was like, man, I really wanna, man, I oughta, but empty threats. That demon knew its place on that exact day, on that exact night, in that exact moment. And for the rest of the 3 days that I was there, didn't hear from it, didn't see anything, nobody woke up with scratches. The pictures on the wall stayed on the wall. When I left, there wasn't any more activity. I did my job. I went to sleep, and I had, even though that little orange bowl, fucking chair bowl I was sitting in pretty much, was dangerously uncomfortable to sleep in, I still had one of the most peaceful slumbers I could, even to this day. And yeah, I shake a little bit, just bear with me. I had woken up like almost like a campground wake up. Do you know when you're camping and the next day you're just energized and ready to go do whatever it is you're gonna do the next day? You skip breakfast, you just go for a little bit of a jog, you take some tree branches so that way you have some more fire later. Or maybe you're one of those types of people who wake up and then go for a drive just automatically. You just want to drive. It was like that. I was just in the mood for something. Didn't know what, didn't care, just in the mood. Towards lunchtime, everyone was gonna go out and get something, or cook, or something along the lines. They were all gonna do something for lunch. However, I couldn't have anything at the house. So, I guess I was in the mood for food. Went over to Burger King, got home, and I had started eating that, and right before I actually ate it, I went into the laundry room with the tweaker buds, doing a little puff pass, and then a puff pass, and then a puffity pass, and tell a story while I'm trying to sit here and smoke. So I got this right here like it's a microphone, and I'm still telling my story, but I'm almost to the punchline, so bear with me. I didn't take my hit yet. Yeah, you know that guy, he's sitting there, and the other guy's like, you know what I'm talking about. Well, and this particular day, it was Nectar Collector. I'd never smoked Nectar Collector before, so that's a whole title of its own as well, so I guess feel special. This is kind of like a two-in-one kind of story. But it's 3-in-1 anyway, 4-in-1 because of the backstory with the 3 days chase. Now, I knew how to smoke a Nectar Collector, but I've never done it before, so I didn't know how much I would be able to take, let alone what exactly type of high I would be working with. So I just bombed the motherfucker right there. And I was even considering smoking the regular Jolly Green Giant Girl on top of it later. But for the time being, I felt antisocial. I don't know why. I had my BK, and I think it was because I wanted to just be alone while I eat. When I was growing up, it wasn't a thing for us to eat around people. Friends, right? If someone else was eating with you, that's fine. But if you're eating alone, you gotta eat completely alone. Does that make sense? I think that was one of the things that was playing in my mind. Plus, I didn't really smoke with these guys up until today, and I didn't want anyone to, like, know that I was high. It was, kind of reversed. So I just watched TikTok because I needed some kind of entertainment while I was eating. That's what I'm used to. I heard a whole bunch of stomping and laughter, children laughter, and running around, and okay, so just people playing, it's fine. They're just doing kid shit. It's all good. But for whatever fucking reason, my obscure amount of curiosity had just carried my fucking thoughts all the way upstairs, and I was like, I really want to go check on this, because it almost sounds just like someone's getting attacked. Kids can be loud, they can scream, they can fucking play tag, some shit. But they could also be running from someone, and I really hope that's not the case. So I did what any sensible person would do. I texted Skates for Life. I was really antisocial in that moment. And he texted me back, everything's fine, they're just playing, they're just doing kid shit. And I was like, okay, that's what I thought, but I just gotta make sure. And I stayed in the fucking bedroom all alone, watching TikTok. That's it. Well, towards the night, when the night came, I was sitting down and I was alone still when some shit happened. I was sitting down alone, all the lights were off, and it was starting to get dark. And I had my eyes closed and I had an out-of-body experience. But it wasn't like the type of out-of-body experience you would think about by hearing the title, out-of-body experience. It was something completely different. We're going to get into that on the next episode. Yeah, we're out of time, so I gotta cut it right here. Boy, this is a long story. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I think that's a mustard stain on your shirt, and Jaka. We'll catch you in the next one.